Clear sunshine. So we are back with another video. Just to go over really quickly what we went over in our last session, we created this fashion blog from start to finish. So here's a look at the HTML that we created. And yeah, that's what we did. So let's go ahead and move on to our next lesson. Hopefully they don't ask me any questions. Okay, perfect. So I did get started with the tables. You can reference the last video. Um, it's HTML for beginners, building a blog with Codecademy. You can reference that and just kind of catch up here, but we're just gonna jump right back into it. So here, actually, I think we'll just start over. We'll just start over from the top. Okay, we're not going back. Here we go. Okay, so it looks like we have to refresh the page every time we go backwards. Okay, here we are. So introduction to tables. There are many websites on the internet that display information like stock prices, sports scores, invoice data, and more. This data is tabular in nature, meaning that a table is often the best way of presenting the data. In this part of the course, we'll learn how to use HTML, the HTML table tag element, HTML table element to present information in a two-dimensional table to the users. Let's get started. Okay. So create a table. Before displaying data, we must first create the table that will contain the data by using the table element. So we did that here. We already added our table element. I'm just going to go over and highlight here table. That's our opening tag and our closing tag. Okay. Now go ahead and press on. So table rows. In many programs that use tables, the table is already predefined for you, meaning that it contains the rows, columns, and cells that will hold data. In HTML, all of these components must be created. Oh, must be created. this the first steps the first step in entering data into the table is to add rows using the table row element. So that's going to be TR, table row. And we went ahead and did that. We opened up one table row, that opening element and closing element, and then our second table row. Okay, so we did that. Next, rows aren't sufficient to add data to a table. Each cell element must also be defined. In HTML, you can add data using the table data element. So that's going to be TD. In the example above, two data points, 73 and 81, were entered in the one row that exists. By adding two data points, we created two cells of data. If the table were displayed in the browser, it would show a table with one row and two columns. I don't quite understand that yet, but it's okay. We'll get there. So we did go ahead and add three cells of data. So here in the second row, add three cells of data. The cell should contain the following data in order. So we did table data with that opening and closing for each of them. Table data, table data, table data, table data. Okay, and that's it right there. All right, we're just gonna press on. Now here is, we've made it to the point that we started with at the beginning. So let's go ahead and get into it. Table data doesn't make much sense without titles to describe what the data represents. To add titles to rows and columns, you can use the table heading element. The table heading element is used just like a table data element, except with a relevant title. Just like table data, a table heading must be placed within a table row. Okay, so this is important to in understanding the syntax of HTML because it looks like table headings and table data are nested within table rows. So we're gonna keep that in mind for later. Okay. So what happened in the code above? First, a new row was added to hold the three headings, a blank heading, a Saturday heading, and a Sunday heading. See that? Blank heading, Saturday heading, and the Sunday heading. The blank heading creates the extra table cell necessary to align the table headings correctly over the data they correspond to. The second row, in the second row, one table heading was added as a row title, temperature. Oh, okay, I see. I see. So this one is that blank table heading here. And then this is the Saturday and the Sunday. And then since the first one was not blank, we just added, yeah, that's the temperature one right there. Okay, I get it. Okay, note. Also use the scope attribute, which can take one of two values. Row. This value makes it clear that the heading is for a row. Call. This value makes it clear that the heading is for a column. So here's where they use the scope. So this is going to be for a column. This is going to be for a column. And this is going to be for a row. Got it? So HTML code for tables may look a little strange at first, but analyzing it piece by piece helps make the code more understandable. Thanks. In the first row, add three table headings. The headings should contain the following data in order: company name, number of items to ship, next action. These headings will add meaning to the rest of the data in the table. Okay. Okay. So let's just look at, okay, this is the example. So it looks like table headings and table data are both children to the table row element and grandchildren to the table element. Okay, see, grandma, mama, baby. Okay, this is a child, parent, grandparent, and also child, child, parent, grandparent. Okay. So here, the headings should contain the following data in order. In the first row, so that's table row, we're getting table heading, open it up, and table heading, close. And since we're doing three, I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this now. Copy. Oh, what have I done? Yes, okay. And we're going to add in number of items to ship. Oops. And then next action. Okay, these settings will add more to data. All right, let's run it and see what it looks like. Company name, Adams Greenworks. Then number of items to ship, 14, and next action. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Next action is to package items. Okay. Now add a scope attribute to each of these new headings. To each of them? This seems like it would be row. I mean column, right? I think it would be column. Gonna work smarter, not harder here. And just copy and paste it. This seems like it would be column, but let me just reference this up here to make sure. I really just can't tell. I think they're columns. I think they're columns. Yay! Okay, no errors. It's a column. Right, next. So far, the tables you've created have been a little difficult to read because they have no borders. In older versions of HTML, a border could be added to a table using the border attribute and setting it equal to an integer. This integer will represent the thickness of the border. Okay, so table, and here is the border attribute. It's set equal to the integer is 1 in this case. So the code in the example above is deprecated, so please don't use it. Okay. It's meant to illustrate older conventions you may come across when reading other developers' code. The browser will likely still interpret your code correctly if you use the border attribute, but that doesn't mean the attribute should be used. Okay. We use CSS to add style to HTML documents because it helps us to separate the structure of a page from how it looks. You can learn more about CSS in our CSS courses. That's coming soon. You can achieve the same table border effect using CSS. So we're getting into CSS right now. The code in the example above uses CSS instead of HTML to show table borders. Okay, table border, table data, border 1 pixel solid black. Okay, I'm not sure if that actually means pixel or not. Probably not. But maybe so. Who knows? Google might know. It means pixels. 1 pix is a unit of measure in cascading style sheets, aka CSS, that represents the number of physical pixels on a device that make up 1 pixel. It means pixels. Awesome. Okay. Glad we got to the bottom of that. Okay, so we're going to, well, okay, let's read. We're going to need some more data in the table. Add the following data to the table. Make sure to place it after the second table row. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. So we're just going to copy that. After the second table row, okay. So this is going to be the third table row. Ooh, that that looks like something. And this indentation is not proper. I guess we'll just go ahead and correct it now. All right, so it looks like our first line of business is here. Line two. Hmm, it's not right. You know what? Oh my word. Um, there is an extension that I saw a developer use to beautify this HTML. I will probably do that in the future. I won't do this again. Not when I could just put it in an editor to beautify it. But since we started, we're gonna finish because oh, since we started, we're gonna finish because that's our business. One, two, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. Right. Now this makes more sense. Okay, awesome. And run that. Beautiful. Looks the exact same. Mhm. Next, what if the table contains data that spans multiple columns? For example, a personal calendar could have events that span across multiple hours or even multiple days. Data can span columns using the call span attribute. So column span attribute. The attribute accepts an integer greater than or equal to 1 to denote the number of columns it spans across. So here in this example, above the data out of town spans the Monday and Tuesday table headings using the value 2 columns. The data back in town appears only under the Wednesday heading. Okay. I suppose I excuse me. I suppose I understand what's being said here. So in our index.html file, span a table data element across 2 columns. Okay. Which was our favorite one. We'll just try to get this. So we're just going to call span equals 2. That's about it. Awesome. That was rather simple. So what that actually looks like. Oh, okay. It's kind of like merging your cells. It's kind of like merging your cells in an Excel sheet. See, it just took up the space of 2 columns. Now we have our or 2 rows, 2 columns. That's gonna kick my behind. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So data can also span multiple rows using the row span attribute. The row span attribute is used for data that spans multiple rows. Perhaps an event goes on for multiple hours on a certain day. It accepts an integer greater than or equal to 1 to denote the number of rows it spans across. In the example above, there are 4 rows. The first row contains an empty cell and 2 column headings. So here is the first row, empty cell, 2 column headings, Saturday and Sunday. Excuse me. The second row contains the morning row heading. So morning row heading along with work, which spans 2 rows under the Saturday column. Hmm. The relaxed entry spans 3 rows under the Sunday column. Okay. Okay. So we created a row. We're looking we're looking at 1 row here, 2 row, 3 row, 4 rows. And then this is a heading of, so it's a blank column, blank, I mean, not blank, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, I'm all caught up. The third row only contains the afternoon row heading. So you can see here. And then the fourth row only contains the dinner entry since relax spans into the cell next to it. Okay. If you'd like to see how the browser interprets the code above, feel free to copy and paste it into the code editor to understand a little better. Yeah, I'm gonna need that because the way that it looks now, there is no way I would be able to tell where all of these elements would look like, what it would look like in Google. So let's just run it and check out our second table. Oh, oh, it kind of looks like a planner or a calendar, a digital planner or calendar. Interesting. I have to conceptualize that one. Next. Over time, a table can grow to contain a lot of data and become very long. When this happens, the table can be sectioned off so that it's easier to manage. Long tables can be sectioned off using the table body element, T body, not P body. The T body element should contain all of the table's data, excluding the table headings. More on this in a later exercise. Okay. Yep. So table headings. Okay. So our table rows are our children to T body, table body, and children to our table. Okay. In the example above, all of the table data is contained within a table body element. Note, however, that the headings were also kept in the table's body. We'll change this in the next exercise. So we're going to enclose rows 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the table in a T-body element. We can do that. Rows, so not row 1. This is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. It's okay. It's body. It's 2000. Oh, that's cool then. I did not have much sleep last night, and I feel like it's showing. Run. Did you add a table body? Make sure it's around only the last 6 rows. Okay. It doesn't go there. We're gonna exclude that one and start it here. Yay. Okay. I thought I was gonna be wrong. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only 6, but okay. Next. In the last exercise, the table's headings were kept inside of the table's body. When a table's body is sectioned off, however, it also makes sense to section off the table's column headings using the T head element. Okay, this is starting to look very familiar. So in the example above, the only new element is T head. The table headings are contained inside of this element. Note that the table's head still requires a row in order to contain the table's headings or the table headings. Additionally, only the column headings go under the T head element. We can use the scope attribute on table head elements to indicate whether a table head element is being used as a row heading or a column heading. Wait a minute. Okay, table head versus table heading. This here, table head, the same way we have a regular head, head elements and regular body elements. But TH is table headings. Okay, we're here. Okay, additionally, we can use the scope attribute on the table heading elements to indicate whether a table heading element is being used as a row heading or a column heading. Okay. Enclose the first row of the table in a T head element. Okay. First row, this is definitely our T head here. And for the sake of this, we're not going to focus on the indentation. Let's see. T head. We're not going to focus on the indentation. Oh, I think it kind of looks good. Oh, okay. This is it. That's the only issue. Um, awesome. Oh, did y'all see what that did? Let's just go back real quick so we can see what just happened again. Did y'all see that? Yeah, let's check it again. Forward slash. All right, so look here at company name, number of items to ship, and next action. You're gonna write. Nice. That's pretty cool. All right, next. The bottom part of a long table can also be sectioned off using the T foot element. Cool. So when we're doing tables, there's a T head, T body, T foot. Interesting. So in the example above, the footer contains the totals of the data in the table. The footers are often used to contain sums, differences, and other data results. So add a table footer at the bottom of the table using the T foot element. Inside of the footer, add the following data. We're just going to copy that. And let's see, right here at the end of T body, we're going to add T foot. Open it up, and I'm going to close it. T foot, and close it up. Right in between, we're going to go ahead and paste our code and make it look like something beautiful really quickly. Let's run that. And we're going to check the totals. There we have it. Total 28. Next. Styling with CSS. All right, we're jumping into CSS. Tables by default are very bland. They have no borders, the font color is black, and the typeface is the same type used for other HTML elements. CSS, or Cascading Style Sheets, is a language that web developers use to style the HTML content on a web page. You can use CSS to style tables. You can use CSS to style tables. Specifically, you can style the various aspects mentioned above. Okay. The code in the example above demonstrates some of the various table aspects you can style using CSS properties. We've included a .css file containing instructions for styling the HTML content in the index.html file. In the style.css file, set the font size of all table headings, TH, and table data to 18 pixels. Okay, we're going to go over here to our style.css file, and we are going to scroll to table headings, table, T head, table row, table headings. Here we are. And we're going to set the font size. Let's see if there's any. Okay, so font size will go after font weight. So let's go ahead and add font size to 18 pixels. Even the semicolon and run it. Awesome. I just got bigger. All right, next. So this is our review. That was a pretty quick stream. So great job. We did it. In this lesson, we learned how to create a table, add data to it, and section the table into smaller parts that make it easier to read. Let's review what we've learned so far. The table element creates a table. The TR or table row element adds rows to a table. To add data to a row, you can use the TD or table data element. Table headings clarify the meaning of data. Headings are added with the table heading element. Table data can span columns using the column span attribute or call span. Table data can span rows using the row span attribute. Tables can be split into three main sections, a head, a body, and a footer. Table's head is created with the T head element. A table's body is created with the T body element. A table's footer is created with the T foot element. And all the CSS properties you learned about in this course can be applied to tables and their data. All right, congratulations on completing HTML tables. You're so bad. All right. Take some time. I think we're gonna wrap this on up. Until next time.